February 5th, 2016. Inside the Central Bank of Bangladesh. It's the first day of the weekend in Bangladesh, and their head office is almost empty. One employee is still at his desk though, waiting on a printer that hasn't printed anything all night. Every single transfer this bank does is supposed to print automatically, leaving a paper trail of proof. Tonight, there's nothing in the tray, and he just assumes the printer is jammed. Printers jam all the time. What he doesn't know yet is that on the other side of the world in Manhattan, the Federal Reserve has already wired away $81 million of his bank's money to strangers in Manila. This is a true story of the biggest bank robbery ever pulled off by a group of hackers from North Korea. Bangladesh doesn't keep their foreign reserves at home. Instead, they keep billions of US dollars at the Federal Reserve in New York, and the money moves in and out through a messaging network called SWIFT. In January of 2015, a North Korean hacking unit called the Lazarus Group had started their campaign to infiltrate the Bangladesh bank's computer system. They emailed a fake person's job application to the bank's employees with a link to download their resume. An employee at the Bangladesh bank downloaded this resume, which infected their computer with a virus, giving the North Korean hackers access to their banking network. For months, the hackers were just watching. They were studying who had access to the SWIFT terminals, how transfers were approved, when the head office emptied out, and so on. By the first week of February, they were ready. February 4th, 2016. It's a Thursday evening in Bangladesh, but it's a Thursday morning in New York. All the bank employees in Bangladesh have gone home for the weekend because Bangladesh's work week is from Sunday to Thursday. The hackers timed their attack on this particular day because the Bangladesh bank was closed for the next 48 hours. Meanwhile, New York's Federal Reserve was still open and processing transfers. Using the stolen SWIFT credentials, the hackers begin firing off instruction after instruction. 35 separate payment orders, totaling nearly $1 billion, aimed at strangers in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. Most of the payments got flagged, but the hackers still got away with a total of $81 million. The Federal Reserve's computer system is programmed to flag any transactions tied to blacklisted regimes. 35 transfer requests had the word Jupiter in it, and it was flagged as a company with ties to Iran. This was pure coincidence because the hackers had simply routed the money through a bank on a street called Jupiter. That one flagged word was enough to freeze 30 out of the 35 requests, worth about $850 million. Meanwhile, another request worth $20 million addressed to Sri Lanka was working its way through a routing bank in Germany. A clerk there noticed a spelling mistake. The word foundation had been spelled fandation, and this was enough for the German bank to freeze the transaction. Two coincidental accidents, neither one of them designed to catch a heist, yet they both saved close to $900 million from getting stolen. 4 transfer requests to the Philippines went through successfully, totaling $81 million. It was heading straight into 4 separate bank accounts at an RCBC branch on Jupiter Street in Manila. These accounts were set up 9 months earlier. Someone had opened all 4 accounts under fake names, deposited around $500 into each one, and then let them sit completely untouched. On February 4th, 2016, all 4 bank accounts were filled with tens of millions of dollars apiece. Before anyone at the branch even realized what's going on, the money was already being drained out of all of the accounts. Friday, February 5th, 2016, Dhaka, Bangladesh. A bank employee walks into the bank's most restricted room to find the printer tray empty. He tries to fix it with no luck, gives up, and leaves. This happened before where the printer was just jammed, but he doesn't realize that this time was different. Malware was quietly installed weeks earlier to disable it, buying the hackers precious time. Saturday morning, staff finally route around the dead printer and force it back online. That's when a flood of urgent messages came out. They were from the Federal Reserve Bank, asking the Bangladesh bank to confirm transfers worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Panic sets in, and they rush to call, fax, and email New York, but nothing gets through because it's the weekend in America. By the time anyone at the Federal Reserve responds, many days have passed, and $81 million is already gone. The timing gets worse in the Philippines. The day right after the heist falls on a Chinese New Year holiday, and RCBC doesn't even know about Bangladesh Bank's incoming alert until a full day later. At the Jupiter branch, the bank manager, Maya Santos de Guido, authorizes the withdrawals herself. Account after account, with no questions asked about where all this money had suddenly come from. By the time investigators managed to freeze anything, over $58 million has already walked out the door. Majority of the money was funneled through a single junket operator with deep ties to Manila's casino industry. The cash was converted into casino chips, played for a few hands, and then cashed back out into clean money. No wire transfer to trace, no paper trail to follow, just cash disappearing into a corrupted money laundering system that's nearly impossible to trace. Investigators traced the malware's digital fingerprints for months. The code, the infrastructure, the tactics, all leading back to a group called Lazarus. They were a hacking group tied directly to North Korea's military intelligence. In September of 2018, the U.S. Department of Justice formally charges a North Korean programmer, Jin Hyuk Park, over his alleged role in the Bangladesh bank heist. 3 years later, American prosecutors charged 2 more of his alleged colleagues, accused of trying to steal over $1 billion from banks and crypto exchanges around the world. None of them will ever see the inside of a courtroom because the United States has no extradition treaty with North Korea. Manila does eventually deliver one conviction. In January of 2019, Maya Santos de Guido is found guilty on 8 counts of money laundering and sentenced to 4 to 7 years in prison on each count. So far, she remains as the only person to ever be convicted over the heist. As for the money itself has been harder to recover than the people involved. Of the $81 million that vanished into the Philippine banking system, only about 15 to 18 million has ever made its way back to Bangladesh. What's left behind is a warning and a lesson for the entire banking world to step up their security measures against a state-run hacking team that nearly pulled off the biggest heist in history, stopped only by a coincidence and a single misspelled word. If you're enjoying my videos so far and you haven't subscribed yet, that's crazy.